Hello, everyone, and this is my week 25 recap. And I was able to reconnect with the voice this week, and so this video is going to be quite extensive because I had a lot of communication um, with this voice. Um, so I'll just get straight to it real quickly because like I said, it gets really deep pretty quickly. On the Tuesday, on the 15th of May, I spoke with a voice again, which said that I could call him Solomon because I did ask what I could call him, and that's what he said, Solomon. Uh, I had a personal question, and he had mentioned that he answered that. He said, as far as my, it was a sticking point of mine, resistance, he said I should focus on how I can achieve my goal because I was stuck in how I can't. And it was helpful to me at the time, so it was just something that he was kind of pointing me in the right direction. Okay, so then he said, then Solomon talked about how there is no real evil in the world because all experiences are agreed upon from a spiritual level. And since all creatures are spirits, there's never really any real harm done. All things are done for the purpose of growth toward all that is, which essentially is in the direction of love. There are some which are moving in the opposite direction, but all that is still receiving the benefit of those experiences. So expansion is the one true constant in this life. You are continually expanding toward the larger part of you, and that is true on many different levels of your being. And that's kind of what I got. And again, keep in mind that I'm translating some of this. This is not verbatim what I got, but it is, some of it is being, I'm receiving from a conscious level, and some of it seems to be like a thought, um, you know, being almost downloaded into me, and then I'm having to like unravel it in however I can understand it. So just keep that in mind. It is not exactly verbatim how I got it. I am doing a little bit of interpreting on that. On the 16th, I was watching the UFC, so I was tired that day, so I wasn't able to speak to Solomon on that morning on the 16th. On the 17th, I talked to Solomon and asked a few questions that I was not particularly interested in. The subject that did interest me, I had received earlier. The process was scripting, and he explained that you need to place in as much detail about the subject as possible while maintaining the playful fantasy about the subject. It is very important to understand that the intention for you is to allow all that is to bring the situation into your reality. Do not insist that the way that you visualize the subject is the best way that it can come. This is why creating an imaginary scenario is so useful. The more playful the scenario, the less resistance. And that was it. So it was basically using a law of attraction, but it was using it in a kind of a virtual reality type of experience, using your imagination. And from what I was gathering from that conversation, that's kind of what dreams are the purpose of them is for. Sometimes you were like, well, what was that about? It's kind of this weird thing going on. Some of it is to allow you to know, it works twofold, to allow you to know where you are on your own emotional scale on whatever subject it is about. And, it's just kind of showing you where you are. But also it's giving you an opportunity to work through that in an imaginary scenario, so that way you can, gives you another opportunity to kind of let go some of that resistance. And it was saying that you could use these imaginary scenarios. Let's say, for example, that you were. I use the example of my dog scenario. If a couple videos ago, where I was saying all of a sudden I was getting this fear of dogs as I was jogging. Well, it was saying you could, basically you could use the imaginary scenario of imagining that there was a dog, but you shrink it down to a part where it's just a little puppy. And then just imagine, petting the puppy and, oh, okay, there's a puppy and, and imagine yourself with a lot of detail. What type of dog, feeling the dog on the top of the head, actually petting it, realizing, oh, there's no danger. And that's kind of what you're shooting for, is the relief factor emotion that says, there's no danger. In fact, you're just a little puppy and, you're cute as heck. That's what you're searching for, but you're not going to be able to get it by imagining a big scary dog that's after you. You gotta go into your imagination and imagine the scenario and how you would like to. And the key was, it was saying, was get as detailed as you can. I mean, really fine tune all of the detail. I mean, think of the feeling, how everything is experiencing it, and really, the more detail you get, the more emotion that you're going to get out of that. That's what I got out of that, and it seemed to really stress on that a lot. Um, anyway, on the 18th of May, Solomon began discussing blocks of thought and said that much more information is traveling between us than what I consciously interpret. He said this is actually the most effective means of communication because you are transmitting understanding, and that can be unraveled through the belief layer of the individual. In fact, beliefs are the filters of our reality. You can not create reality outside of your beliefs. Spiderweb analogy of the thoughts and beliefs. I think what I was trying to get was that a lot of beliefs are connected by different thoughts that you're thinking, and so then it forms like this certain belief, and it's supported by these different thoughts that you have about that belief. As you can chivel away at these beliefs by knocking out some of these thoughts that are supporting that belief. As you kind of realize certain things, about that, then you can dismiss the belief. But it is supported usually by more than one thought. And so that's why sometimes if you're working on, especially like a law of attraction type of things, you may have some trouble because a certain belief may be blocking you, and that belief, maybe you've knocked down a few of the branches that are supporting it, but it's still being supported by a few other thoughts there. And again, that's what I got there. So okay, on the 19th, I did contact Solomon, but I didn't have really anything to write about on that day. On the 20th, I didn't. It was just like a deep meditation. I wasn't able to get in contact. Okay, and then today, this morning, Solomon was discussing how to evaluate and control emotions by placing your full attention on them and asking yourself, how does this serve me? And it basically is what you're trying to do is find, I guess, those thoughts that support that belief. And by saying, how does this serve me, you're hoping to get those thoughts. And as you evaluate those individual thoughts, those can actually be knocked down pretty easily from a logical standpoint, because you realize that whatever emotion that you're having is not really supporting you. I mean, there's no point in feeling a negative emotion towards something when you can feel a positive emotion, but you have to be able to find those thoughts. And this is kind of one of those ways where if you focus your full attention on the emotion and ask the question of how does this serve me, you're hoping to, I guess, to be able to receive some of those thoughts. Somehow that's going to surface up, I suppose. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much all I got through the week. It was I'm pretty excited about this so far. So again, I don't know what this being is. It's just parts of myself. It's not really all that important right now. I just want to focus on continuing to have conversations with this voice and just kind of see where it takes me. But it was pretty interesting, or I got some pretty detailed stuff through the week. So anyway, that's it for today, and thanks everyone for watching. Take care.